Hey guys, welcome back. This is our second video since the update, and there's still a lot of things to go over, so let's get started. One thing that was mentioned, a couple of the comments that came in, I had forgotten to mention the new costumes. It was something I was aware of. I haven't gotten to the point of getting any of these yet, but I'm looking forward to this. I think it'll be a fun new add-on to the game. So we've got new costumes for a number of the characters, maybe all the characters. No, just some of them. I knew Willow had one, and Rogar. I'm not sure the complete list, but that'll be kind of a fun addition to the game here. I'm looking forward to finding out how we will unlock those before too long. I had a couple other great comments from people that came in. There's been kind of a firestorm of stuff with all the changes, especially the Tower of Pwnage. So let's go there for a second. I didn't work my way through this one just yet, just did a couple of floors, and I'm trying to do a couple other things to unlock more characters and up their stars before I continue going up the rest of the way. But I did want to share a few things that were shared on the video comments. So one of the things that I found out on the first day was that you can go in and, say, kill off a couple characters or do damage and then retreat or die, whatever happens with your party. And if you come back in, you'll find them in a very similar state. Now, there's a caveat to that. It's not entirely true. I think it has to do with completed turns. So I think it's like the last, whatever the status was of everyone on their last completed turn, that's the experience I've been having, at least. If you go in and just use like your fast characters and do a bunch of damage and then retreat before they get their turn to go, then none of that will be counted. They're back to full health. It seems to be, if you continue through an entire turn and take damage and go through that whole process and then retreat, that there's something like a save at the end of the turn. Now, there may be more specifics that might not be right on. Again, as we figure this out, let's try to record it. But I've definitely gone in, killed two characters, lost some of my team, retreated. Those two characters were still dead, and the other characters hadn't full healed. They hadn't been fully healed because of it, so there's some medium in between there. And then, like I said, I've had the reverse as well, where I just went in, tried to do some damage after seeing that first experience, wanted to see if it would work with a fast team to just go in, hit them, and then pull back out, and it didn't work. So somewhere in between, I think it might be related to at the end of the turn, their current status. So that's one thing. The second one, a really great comment that was brought in by Stan. If you see, we get some good comments from a lot of different people that come in. This was particularly good. I wanted to give a shout out for it. So he had talked about noticing that if you send in, for example, a really hardy team or just your own characters that are, maybe they're lower level, you get them up to something like 40 or 45 or 50, they're not going to maybe be able to take out the team, but they could take a bunch of hits. That team will use up their first, their most powerful attacks. The team that you're attacking, you can use up their most powerful attacks on your team that, you don't care so much if you lose them or what happens. And once they're out of the way, then you can bring in your main team and finish them off, and they won't suffer as much damage. So it's, I think, a great tactic going forward, especially with some of your tankier characters. So that's one thing I've been trying to focus on today, is get the rest of my team up. For a long time, because I was working on getting up to the level cap, and you've got those quests that require you to level up characters like 5 levels and then level 6 skills up. What I had done was I'd have my top tier characters, and then the rest of the characters I had at basically level 10 or something. I didn't do a whole lot with them because I wanted to make sure it didn't cost me too much to hit those daily quests. Well, those daily quests aren't doing anything for me anymore. Now that I'm at the level cap, I don't need the extra player experience. So one thing I've done is I'm trying to go through and level up the rest of the characters to a medium level, since it takes kind of exponentially more and more experience to get to those higher levels, and I don't have quite enough experience pots for that. So I'm trying to do that with these other characters, and you can see I've got some like Balog here. He's at 5-star. He can probably take a fair amount of damage if I put him in there to soak up some of the attacks, and then just let him die, do some damage, and then come back out. Similarly, I've got Phenol here. He'll be a great one for that. Phoenix will be great for it. Quite a few of these. Let's go back in. Crossed out of that. But that's the idea. I'm trying to get the rest of them up to at least moderate levels so they can provide some value. You can see we've still got a lot of comments. It's nice. This update really, I can see in the comments and everything, it's really helped revive some of the time that we were spending on this. And I think a lot of players' interest. So yeah, a lot of these, I'm able to get them up to level 60. You can see I've got a pretty good stack of coins here, of gold. So I'll be able to start bringing up their ability levels as well. And it's going to, this is the first time that it's really made more sense to try to bring everyone up to a moderate level, or at least bring some of your lowest characters up to a moderate level rather than having just a few really strong characters. So that's another strategy I'm advocating for. Try to get everyone up to a reasonable level so they can at least soak up damage for you. And I've still got some down here that are lower level, but I'll be working those up pretty soon as well. Honestly, it just takes a while just clicking through all those experience potions to build them up. So that's just a quick update on this. And I wanted to do some hero rolls as well. We're already, looks like 6 minutes in the video, but hopefully you can bear with it through that time and get ready for these heroic rolls. I've held off. I've got quite a few gems here, and I was basically holding off until they gave a new hero or something like that. But this Augustus looks like a great one for us to get. Hopefully we'll get lucky here. I am going to try to run as many of the quest dungeons as possible so that I can try to get him. If it works out here, I'll just be building up to the 4-star level, but having a tank healer is definitely along the lines of a character that I'd like to get a hold of. And especially with this new game feature, the more characters you can get, the better. It's really going to add and help you get to those final stages. So with that, let's go ahead. Again, I always try to hold out for that times 10. And here we go. Keep our fingers crossed. We don't quite have enough to do it twice, so hopefully we can get him in this first run. Alright, Archangel Emily coming up a little further. We'll get some of the larger scale experience pots in here too. Nice, alright, we need one more of these to get Ekko ascended, and then any more that we get beyond that, we can start combining. Got a purple chest. Awesome. So we'd love to get 3 of those at once. Now that they've made it so that we can combine them, really every Celestial Evo counts. Can be a big benefit. Not so good yet. Keeping our fingers crossed. Really would rather have those white letters unlock a character or the equivalent. We've got to get at least one of those. It's guaranteed for this 10. At least we're getting gold chests and not silver chests. And getting a whole lot of these Celestial Evos here. Balog is among my least favorite heroes to get tokens for. Nice, that's an arcane right there. And a few more, not too bad. 10. So that fulfills the requirement. It's about the lowest thing we could possibly get. Augustus! Woo! I thought it was going to be a terrible roll. If it had ended like that and we didn't get Augustus, that would have been awful. I was feeling cheated with the 10 tokens. But unlocking Augustus, that's awesome. Let's go check him out. Whew. And then 25 for Archangel Emily. Very nice. Get her halfway up to that next level. Alright, so we were saved. I was getting frustrated, but that worked out really well. And now I've got the new character, and bonus, we can check him out. And they'd like to sell us something right away. Well, not just yet. We've got other things we want to spend our money on for now. Let's go check him out. I love his skills. I read about these already. Especially his last skill. He's got, the equivalent of... Popped in the wrong person here. So we won't be able to get there, but he's got a shield for his last one that will absorb, basically, so that you can't do any damage to anyone on the whole team. It's just like the last skill for Yasmin Bloom, except it affects the whole team. So really powerful. His first one here is Smite, and you actually get this Smite skill increases in its value for every ascension you do. So it starts off, you can purge 1 buff, and then you can purge 2 buffs after you've ascended him the next time, and then finally you can even purge 3 buffs on the character. So that's a nice benefit. He's also, to start from the beginning, so we do have some levels where we can farm for him right now. A few of these where he gets unlocked, and also we have quest rewards where he can pop up due to the event that's going on. I guess we'll check that out here in a minute. It's going to end up being a little longer video, so I'm still going to try to work as hard as I can to get him up to 100, and it's very likely that I'll do the $10 for, I think it's 700 or 750 stamina, where you can just buy it straight out like that, and then I'll just run the levels over and over again and try to work my way up through those quests. I think that's much more economical probably than buying the $29, a little bit more than I want to spend on this right now, at least just for tokens for him. When you run a whole bunch of levels like that, you also get a whole lot of experience potions, a whole lot of gold, and so it's a nice combination. It takes more work, but at least you get a lot of value out of it. Let's look at his traits. So he's armored, obviously, and this Holy Shroud, he takes less damage from demons. This is really the key issue. I think Tsumi is so powerful, especially when you're attacking groups, you know, either in dungeon raiding or in the new tower. It's nice to have a character that's specifically aimed at taking him out. And Augustus seems to be aimed for that and healing. The same thing as Archangel Emily. So I think those two will probably work out well as a way to take him out fairly early. So he takes less damage from demons, but he also has this Demon Hunter, boosted damage against demons. So that's going to give him a multiplier. It's probably 1.5. We'll be able to check it out before too long. But then if you use the Smite skill, you're going to get another 1.5 times damage modifier on if you're attacking a demon as well. So attacking Tsumi or Nitpick, those are the two that come to mind. I can't think of another demon character right now. There may be another one I've missed. Let's look at his ascensions. So I love to see a whole lot of additional things going on here, a whole bunch of traits added on. So first you see Smite 2, and that's where you see that that second buff purge comes in. And this looks very interesting, the lay on hands. So cleanse all debuffs and heals health 40%, and apparently that grows over time as well. So I'm assuming that that's a single character that's going to affect, but still it's going to be a large heal and take away any debuffs. The quick starter starts all dungeons with added ability energy. I think this might be an interesting one, especially for the tower. I won't know until I've tested some of this, but I'd been thinking about it ahead of time, wondering if every time you enter the next level of the tower, is he going to get some added ability energy? So that would help him to recharge a lot faster. And if he's armored, so he can take a lot of damage, and he can heal, and he gets new energy every time going in, that would really help out. There's another character that comes to mind. I'm forgetting his name right now, but he also has, you know, the equivalent of this ability, but I think he's not so hardy. He could be taken out a little easier. And this Spread the Wealth, another one that I thought was really interesting. So when his health is full, he'll regenerate the team for a little bit of health each turn. So kind of like field dressing, I'm assuming. It might be something around field dressing's amount of health regeneration. We'll have to check it out, but only if he's at full health. So really nice abilities there. We'll look at, so it's a heal for his second ability, and I mentioned that third one is a shield for your whole party that's going to absorb and nullify a whole attack. So a really interesting, and I believe that has a heal as well built into it. So that'll be a great benefit and nice character to have, really aimed at that tower, it seems like. That's most we've got going on for right now. I've got some other thoughts for videos that'll be coming out soon. I think we'll certainly be spending a lot of time looking at the tower and the best way to ascend our way up the tower coming up soon. But there'll have to be more on that later. So I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and very excited to have Augustus now on the team. Talk to everyone later. Thanks again.